Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Book of Grudges. My name is Nathan and we're back with another Total War Warhammer video. Today we'll be continuing our mod highlight series, where we'll be discussing the third and final vampire mod by Kaylica, Lahmians, Neferata's Ambitions. A minor vampire count overhaul mod which gives you access to the Silver Pinnacle among a few other things. We've covered Kaylica's other mods before. They're nothing too massive, but indeed they are quite fun, and provide a different style of play when playing as the vampire counts, mostly in the form of new campaign experiences, and this does just that, where we'll once again find ourselves with two starting positions at the same time. But let's not waste any more time and jump right in. For the purpose of this mod, as always, we'll begin a fresh campaign in easy mode and easy battles. Our campaign start will take us to Lemire itself. Here we'll see that we have access to a rather large kingdom, already beginning with 3 different occupied settlements within this area. They don't all belong to this province, and that's fine, as obviously we are surrounded by not only Tomb Kings, but Skaven and Greenskins. You also have to take in mind that Queen Kaylica, Neferata's arch-nemesis, is already here and very close to your doorstep. You will notice that you will have access to new buildings and units which are generally not normally available to the vampire counts. The units themselves are nothing new, they follow mostly around Tomb Kings and Mortal Followers, but we'll cover that later on in the video. What is new, however, are the uniquely added buildings, which spread corruption faster and provide more of a Lahmian feel. Obviously, as can be expected with Kaylica's mods, we don't just have access to our forces down in the very south. In the northern World's Edge Mountain, we have a legendary lord, that of Neferata. Her campaign effects focus around a massive increase of vampiric corruption, -50 to diplomatic relations with vampire counts, and a rather large -33% upkeep for all units for Neferata's army. Bear in mind before we continue that the character does not have a unique skin. Other than that, she has a bunch of different uniquely added skills, mostly which focus around the spreading of corruption, hexing of enemies, and also a -40% reduction for Graveguard. You can actually have a very potent army with Graveguard over here. Her uniquely added items will also make her quite decent in melee combat, more powerful at spellcasting, and it's actually quite good against enemy spellcaster based armies. It will reduce their winds of magic and strip any enemies from their magical resistance. Have fun fighting the dwarfs now. You might have noticed during the video that a new currency has been implemented for this mod, that of Lahmian influence. This currency can be used in the Sisterhood's secret market, a clone of the Tomb King item builder, but it makes sense for Neferata anyway. Now, with this you're able to recruit regiments of renown in the form of mortal troops. This is perhaps the one thing I have an issue with, not the mechanic itself, but some of the troops available. For example, the Knights of More, the Emperor's Wrath steam tank, and so on. Those just don't seem like they would form part of the Lahmian Empire. Especially the Knights of More, who are brought up in their order to hate the undead. I don't think they would fall under Lahmian influence that easy. In terms of technology, not much has really changed. 2 new branches have been added in, the first focusing around movement for your armies and also securing influence, diplomatic relations with human factions, and tribute from vassals. So it could be viable to actually turn a bunch of human factions into your vassal servants, whereas the second tree, a bit larger than the first, is focused around buffing up your mortal servants. Extra damage, armor and so on, which will make sense later on in this video. You will notice with certain settlements that you'll capture, you'll have access to a Thrall's Barracks building. This will allow you to recruit mortal servants as full armies, and it is kinda overpowered. You see, each building will give free Lahmian influence, which means that you'll have easier access to recruiting the regiments of renown. It will also give +3 diplomatic relations with human factions, and this does indeed stack. Then a +3 casualty replenishment for all mortal units, which extends to all armies, and finally a -3% upkeep reduction for mortal units, once again for all armies. It's a bit much, but then again you won't have access to this building everywhere. However, you can basically have full armies of pistoliers at no cost whatsoever. Have them reinforcing your basic standard vampire army and you're pretty much set to do a lot of damage. I did forget to mention, but thankfully due to the power of editing I can mention it here, that you will also begin with a second legendary lord. Neymar is a pseudo-legendary lord, which is your first line of defense in the lands of Lahmia. She is pretty much geared as any other Lahmian vampirist, but her battle effects are as follows: +15 speed, +30 weapon strength, meaning that she will be quite potent in taking out enemy heroes and lords, and +10 physical resistance to her whole army. And lastly, the faction effects themselves. I normally leave these out as generally most of these mods never come with some, in most cases at least. But the Silver Host will begin with 2 Blood Kisses, +25 diplomatic relations with human factions, +3 to the hero capacity for vampires, and +25% weapon strength for all embedded heroes. As stated earlier in this video, Kaylica's mods are never really that big, but they do present variety for the vampire counts, so if they're your favorite faction and you want to try something different, this is a good way to go. Kaylica's mods focus around giving you 2 different start positions, so you're not only fighting in one region, but in 2, and that means that you'll be fighting loads of different enemies at the same time. I've always liked Kaylica's mods, and honestly, if just a few unique heroes or some unique skins would be added in, I think it would be downright perfect. They just work absolutely well. Nothing has to be complicated for it to work well. But with that being said, if you're a Vampire Count fan and you'd like to try out the mod, you can find it in the description below. Also, if you know of any other mods that you'd like to see highlighted on this channel, or that you'd just like to recommend to me, you can do so by leaving a comment below, or by joining the Great Book of Grudges official Discord, a link to that is in the description, where it's much easier to get in contact with me. Before we end this video, you might have noticed that it's a bit shorter than usual, and this is actually intentional. You see, after the recent announcement of the Wood Elf DLC coming out in December, I'm trying to give my channel a different look. I know that as a content creator dedicated to Total War Warhammer, it's not the best way to not only grow, but to keep active as a channel. Eventually the game series will end, and my channel will pretty much die because of it. Which in all honesty is kind of scary, given the fact that a lot of work has been put onto the channel with daily videos and so on. So obviously I need to start branching out, and I've discussed this in brief before, but now might be the best time where this content drought is affecting my growth as a channel, my viewership and so on. It might be the best time to start experimenting. I know a lot of you are here for just Total War Warhammer, and don't get me wrong, Total War Warhammer will continue, the content will not stop, but it might have to take a step back in the case that it won't be daily anymore. At least until some new DLC comes out, or maybe even Warhammer 3, it just depends. But I do need to start diversifying the channel. I'm not going to make drastic changes, don't you worry. There's actually going to be a lot of Warhammer centric stuff. I'm going to start covering some 40k stuff, some Warhammer fantasy games, tabletop stuff again, and maybe even some painting tutorials for a battle ready look for those getting into the hobby after playing Total War Warhammer. I'm not too sure what's going to happen, and I will try to branch out to some different other franchises. I've been dying to make some content on Baldur's Gate 3, and I don't know exactly when I'm going to start doing all this stuff. I'm going to try and experiment during the weekend and see if I can come up with anything. But I wanted to let you guys know it's just something that I need to do. A lot of other YouTubers have been doing it, and it's basically kept their channel alive, but I've noticed this month has been, well, rather slow. And these are genuine fears of mine, so I just wanted to vent here a little bit and maybe see what you guys can suggest. But with that, my friends, we've come to the end of our video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, might I suggest giving the video a like, or even subscribing to the channel, as it really does help us out. In the description section below are various links to different social media platforms such as Facebook, Instagram, and Discord. Also in the description section is an affiliate link with Element Games where you could buy loads of hobby-based products, not just Warhammer, for 10 to 25% off. Making a purchase using that link and also our special code, which is also in the description, supports the channel at no extra cost to you, which we think is rather cool. A big thank you to our patrons. Your support means the world to us. It's amazing that people want to help a small channel like us grow and get to a higher level of content. A big thank you to Gibraltar LUSC, Ryan Bertsche, Andrew Prince, and Okro for subscribing to us at our fame level. You guys are super cool. And a big thank you to Edward Yule, VS Vasan, Aaron Whitman, and Shaggy for subscribing to us at our king level. Honestly, we can't thank you all enough. And lastly, a big thank you to all of you for liking, sharing, and commenting on these videos. Honestly, it's because of you guys that the channel's been growing at such a great pace lately, so we can't thank you all enough. But with that, my friends, thank you so much for watching once again, and we shall see you all again very, very soon. Have a good day.